today. Welcome back to my channel. Guys, today I'm going to share this recipe of my okra soup. You know, okra comes in different style. You can make okra with fresh fish, dry fish, meat, anything you like. But today I'm going to be making this ilala sepo with fresh fish. And the fish I'm going to be using today is called the pompano fish. This fish is very popular among the Hispanic and it's only found in the Hispanic store. So if you're looking for it, don't go to the African store, you won't get it there. It's only sold in the Hispanic or Spanish store. That's where you get pompano fish. It's very delicious and it's very tasty. So I'm going to show you how I do this. If you're ready to see how I do this, guys, please come into this kitchen and let's make it happen. Come on, guys, let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share this video of how I make my okra soup with pompano fish. Guys, this fish is very, very rare. You can only get it from the Spanish store. And I want to warn you, it's on the high side. But the taste of this fish is worth the price. So don't worry about the price. Just buy the fish and you enjoy the soup. So I'm going to show you all the ingredients I'm going to be using here. These are the pompano fish. I've washed, cleaned it. I have some onions here, which I've chopped. I have the pepper. This is habanero pepper. I have my chopped or pounded okra. I have my lowcost beans or the iru. This is the fresh one. And I also have the dry one made into dawada. So this is still lowcost beans, but it's dried already. So I like to combine two of them into the soup. Now, this is how I deal with my okra. You know, nobody has time. Everybody is busy doing, you're busy with so many things. So to get your okra cut, I just lay them like this and I cut them. You know, this gives you, this beats the time for you, if you know what I mean. You don't need to waste time doing something. So just do it whichever way you can achieve what you want to do. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to follow the old school or the traditional way of cutting okra. This is how I do it and it always works for me. Lay them straight on the board, and then start to chop them up into small, tiny bits. So, once you're done chopping this okra, guys, you put them aside because you're going to start pounding your pepper. So, I'm going to put all my pepper in here. Guys, I need to let you know, this pepper came from my garden. Yay! Yes, I planted this pepper in June and they came out really nice. This is the third time I'll be using them. So this is like the third batch of the pepper. So you add your pepper, you add your salt, and you start to pound. Or before then, you can add your Knorr cube. Here I have my Maggi cube. You can add any of your stock. I do this because I don't want to start mixing it in the water when I'm cooking. So I put everything in the mortar and I pound them into a very not smooth, kind of chaffy texture. You don't want it to be very smooth. You still want to have the grains and the pieces of the pepper when you're eating your soup. And here is my dawada. What I do with dawada is that I also roast it. I put it back on top of my stove and I roast it for a little while and then I pound it, mix it up with the pepper and give it a really good pound. So after pounding, I take the pepper and put them aside and it's now time for me to pound my okra. But after I've washed out this mortar. So after that, I pour my okra into the mortar and I pound the okra. Guys, sometimes when I make okra soup, I pound half of it and I blend half of it. But today I'm just going to use pounded okra because I'm just making the soup just for eating. Just for, I'm not going to keep it for too long. So something just, very fast and easy. So I pound the okra until it gets to this texture and then I put them put them in a bowl and, wash your mortar and put your mortar away. So after that, here I am dealing with my onions. This is also how I chop my onions. This is the easiest way for you to chop your onions. Chop them into very tiny bits, not wasting time, and you put them aside. You will notice that I use a lot of onions. Yes, I use a lot of onions when I'm cooking my okra soup. So the first thing I do, put some water in the pot. Here is I put like a cup of water. I don't use too much water to start my okra because I don't want the okra to be too watery. And once the water is warm, you add your pepper. You can see that the pepper is not really pounded. It has all this, it's very chaffy, it's not pounded. That's how I want it for this okra soup. And then immediately I add my oil. With oil, I don't use much. 1 spoon of oil is enough for a cup of water. So I put my oil and I let it come to a full boiling. You want it to boil very well. And once that is done, you're getting ready to start cooking your soup. So the next thing I do is add my grounded crayfish. That is crayfish. You can also use grounded prawns, but I mix both of them. I use crayfish and prawns, the grounded one, and I pour inside the water, cover it, and let it cook for about 5 minutes. You just want this to boil, and then you add your onions. Like I said before, I use a lot of onions. I add some part at this time, and I'm going to be just using the next part when the soup is almost done. So you add your onions, cover it again for another 5 minutes, and let it boil. After that, you open the pot, and it's time for you to continue doing other things, adding other things. With this okra soup, guys, you really need to follow these steps. If you follow this step that I'm showing you, you're going to really enjoy it. So here now, I'm adding the fish. You see that the water is not much, but don't worry, you're making okra. You don't want it to be too watery. So just add your fish and let the fish cook with the sauce. Let it cook so that the sauce can get into the fish. After a few minutes, you open it and try to, flip it around if you need to, or just make sure that the water gets into the fish and you let it boil for about, at least I do 5 to 7 minutes of cooking this fish. I don't overcook it because I'm still going to add okra. I'm going to cook it a little bit more after adding it to the okra soup. But here, I'm just going to let it cook for about 7 minutes. And after that, what I do is just, take them out into a very clean, dry plate. But that's on the side cooking. So on the inside another pot, I add a little bit of water. This is the pot where I'm going to cook the okra. I'll cook them separately. I added the water. Once the water is boiled, I add my locust beans. Guys, remember to wash your locust beans. You don't want to add it with sand, so wash it always. Now you see where I added the other onions. You add some part here too, and you let this boil. You cannot imagine the aroma in the kitchen at this time. The fresh locust beans and the roasted local beans they're all boiling, and the aroma is just too wonderful. After boiling for about 10 minutes or 7 minutes, you add your okra. When you add your okra, try to use your spoon to give it a whip. You want to activate the drawness, so you have to use your spoon to really give it a tough whip. If you notice that the okra the okra doesn't have enough water, you add a little bit of more water, and then you give it a real whipping. Just mix it up thoroughly. You can use your ijabe, which is the broom that the Yorubas use, or you can use your spoon, and just make sure you beat it. You are activating the drawness at this point, and the more you beat it, the more the more it will draw when you finish cooking it. So make sure you give it a time, a good beating, mixing with the spoon. After that, you leave it. Don't cover your okra. You don't cover okra when you're cooking it. That's what I do, and it has always turned out right for me. So you beat it until it's really drawing, and then what you do at this point, you go back to the other pot, and now it's time for you to take out the fish. I always do this because I don't want to break the fish when I'm mixing up the sauce with the okra. So I take out my fish, put it in a very clean bowl, and I'll show you what I do with the sauce that is left from the fish. Yeah, there you go. You pour it into the okra soup, or the boiling okra, and you mix it up. Guys, that's it. Stephanie, this is all you need to do. This soup will always come out right if you follow this step. So you mix it up very well with the okra and the sauce. Mix everything up and give it time to boil. You can give it like five minutes. Don't cover it, and then you place back your fish into it. Remember, the fish has already taken enough of the sauce, so the fish is tasty already, so you don't really need to mix it up too much. Just use your spoon and move it around a little bit. You don't want to break the fish. Move it around a little bit, and then you turn down your stove and allow it to cook for another 5 minutes, and the soup is ready. Guys, that's how I make this okra soup. It comes out really nice every time I make it. You can eat this with semovita, semolina, pounded yam, eba, or even amala if you want to. It doesn't really choose any a swallow. Any swallow at all will go with the soup. But sometimes I make it just to eat. Just put it in a spoon and use in a bowl and use a spoon to eat it. I do that a lot. But today I'm going to be serving this with hot eba. That's what I feel like eating this with. So guys, this is how I make my okra soup with my pompano fish. I never get the pronunciation of this fish right. It's always hard for me to pronounce. And that's it. You put it in your plate and your food is ready. Guys, you can't just imagine the aroma in my kitchen at this time. I feel like just drinking up this soup. This is how I make my soup, guys. Thank you so much for watching me today. I truly appreciate you. Until next time, it's ciao ciao, bon appetit, and see you later.